How's it going, Song of Ice and Fire fans? It's Grant from Yecats Miniatures, and we're continuing with our Bolton Week here on Yecats Miniatures YouTube channel with a House Bolton Dreadfort Spearmen unboxing and analysis. So after the unboxing, myself and Brett will be talking about the use of this unit in the game. But let's get stuck into the unboxing. Now the artwork is just incredible, as it always is. Look at that spear wall, and on the back we see we have 5 individual sculpts, one of which is the standard bearer. No attachments in this unit, unfortunately, for a faction that isn't allowed to use neutrals. I would have liked to have seen attachment in this box, but it is what it is. Again, thank you to our friends in War Factory Poland for sending these out to us. It's such a great set of artwork. Look at that. Just that shield wall, very reminiscent of the TV show. So we have a 12-man infantry tray as well, as we come to expect from these infantry units. Obviously the card, which myself and Brett will be going over in the analysis afterwards. But for now, let's get stuck into this box, because I really want to get into these sculpts, because ever since they've been leaked, they've just been really ticking my boxes. So let's get this plastic lid off for them. Get it back in the box, so that's a bit easier to sort of dig through. Yeah, look at that. Really nice sculpts. Yeah, let's start looking at some of them, shall we? So here we have the standard bearer. Now I really like the movement in the standard, how it's sort of fluttering in the wind there, and the movement in his cloaks. And the helmet is so cool, really like the Uruk-hai from Lord of the Rings. Really gives them that sense of menace and evil, and obviously carrying a mace, because we know that the Boltons like maces. And here we have our first spearman sculpt. Now this guy's got a really nice pose, the shield lifted, the spear ready to thrust, an incredibly barbed spear, used for doing more damage than killing. Yeah, it's really nice, really spiky. A lot of people complained about the fact that it's quite fantasy looking, but I quite like it. It's quite nice, quite reminiscent of Chaos Warriors really, and Uruk-hai. See, the shoulder pads in this one are a bit of a turn off. I don't really know what's going on here with the shoulder pads. Talk about being impractical, especially for a 4+ armor save. But the pose is nice, the movement is nice, and it's really cool to have these like leather straps as well with the metal triangles at the bottom, which is what we had with the original Cutthroats as well. And again, that's a really nice looking spear. Well, I say nice for the Bolton guy, not so nice for the guy on the receiving end. And we get our third sculpt. Now I quite like how this one's beginning to sort of form a shield wall. So we've got the shield lifted and the spear coming over the top. Maybe a second rank miniature. So he's about to stab through like the front rank. Yeah, I really like the shields, the chains hanging off of them. And again, those helmets, so menacing, so menacing. And here we have our final sculpt. Now, I very much see this one being the back rank. I'm a little bit gutted that we didn't get 4 copies of this sculpt, because I would like to have had the complete back rank like this. I'm one of those guys that quite like the Tyrell Spearmen having quite a unified look about them. But, you know, these guys aren't Tyrell Spearmen. These guys probably aren't as well trained as the Tyrell Spearmen. These guys are forged in the heat of war. But there we go. So that's the miniatures. Really nice. Really Chaos Warrior, maybe quite Slaneshi. But here's a spinning shot. I'm going to go and grab Brett, and we're going to come back and talk you through the analysis of the Dreadfort Spearmen. See you in a bit. So we're back, and this time I brought my friend Brett with me. Brett, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, what's up? I better not just be your friend. I'm the Braun to your Tyrion.
Yeah, we'll go with that, because that means I'm in charge, and you're basically my best friend that I can rely on for trials by combat.
For f***ing killing people, man. That's fine. I'm the big muscle. We're good with that.
Yeah, we're good, man. We're good. So yeah, so I've just done an unboxing for the Dreadfort Spearmen, man, and these miniatures are incredible. I mean, There are some talk of them being quite spiky, a little bit too fantasy for the Song of Ice and Fire world, but the back of the card actually explains the spikes and the barbs and stuff. So I need your expertise to tell me how to win with these guys. So again, up on screen now, we've got the Dreadfort Spearmen card. Now what I will do is quickly read the back of the card out, just for people that are having trouble dealing with the spikes. This blurb does sort of go over that. So it says here the House Bolton Spearmen are indoctrinated in the combat ethic of causing fear and panic among the enemy ranks. Their helmets, shields are designed with extra spikes purely for terrifying effect. The Spearmen are trained to strike at points in the foe that will cause maximum pain, but not kill their opponents, leaving plenty of prisoners for the sadists in House Bolton to do with as they will after the battle. So that's the explanation as to why these guys are so spiky and would look at home in a Chaos Warrior Slanesh army. So before we go into the rules, man, what do you think of the sculpts? You've obviously seen them now. What do you think of them?
I'm thinking they could be Chaos Warriors or Dark Elves, actually. I think they pretty well fit Dark Elves. Throw some Nagaroth purple and some black on there, and you're golden. No, I understand. There's some people that want to be mostly historically accurate or more historically accurate as much as you can in a game where there's giants, dire wolves, and the most overpowered guy is some fat dude on a bear. Doesn't make any sense. Looking past that, they want the aesthetic to be mostly historical, and I'm actually fine with some of the more fantasy elements. They've taken looks like they've taken a turn more into some of that fantasy with not just these sculpts, but I think there were complaints that the Martells weren't super practical and some things like that their armor was not right, but I don't care. You have to have a balance, right? Be a balance for how it looks cool, and you don't want everything to be super boring. I do appreciate the simple and realistic Stark and Lannister sculpts. I have no issue with something being a little bit more fantasy than others. I think it was the Baratheons too. They were halberds or two. I don't care. It looks cool. I don't care. That's fine. As long as you can't go, white lions to just massive ass on little itty bitty elf bodies. As long as you don't cross that line, I think they're fine. I like it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So yeah, they are nice sculpts. But we're here now to talk about the cards. So on screen now we have the flesh-coloured Bolton card with the really cool blood splatters on it. So they come in coming at 5 points. They've got a 5-inch movement. They have the Impaling spear attack profile, which is hit on a 4+, so not great, but what we come to expect of a 5-point unit. And they've got a 7/7/4, so very much that spearman-esque profile. They've got an armor save of 4+, despite being completely covered in armor, and they've got a morale save of 7+. They've got set for charge, which is an order. When this unit is successfully charged from the front or flank, if this unit is not engaged with another enemy, it performs one melee attack action on the attacker before they perform their melee attack. And their Impaling Spear ability is, after completing this attack, if this destroyed an enemy rank, all enemies in short range of the attacker become panicked. So yeah, I really like how these look on paper, Brett. I mean, these are obviously the other side of the coin to the Cutthroats. So these are very much your defensive-esque unit, your 5-point defensive unit, because obviously they've got the Bolton Blackguards, whereas the Cutthroats will come in as a more of a heavy hitter. I like the idea of these guys potentially with some of these new attachments, but let's just get your first thoughts on these, Brett. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fair profile for 5 points. They're not going to be a thing where it's like, oh, this is just a phenomenal unit. It's worth taking 2 or 3 of these. No, I think they look good in the 5-point slot. You can't ask for much more as far as a defensive profile without it being crazy. I mean, you've got 4+, 6+ with things like Stark Sworn Swords, but Stark Sworn Swords don't have set for charge. I think set for charge can be pretty powerful in this version of the game because the game has shifted more towards an aggressive stance. Now, do you still see archers? Yes, certainly you do. Stannis' side runs the out of Lightbringers. You're starting to see war machines a little bit more. And obviously the Lannisters still have the machine gun crossbows, but for the most part, the game shifted to a relatively offensive focus because you've got to get rid of some of these heavy hitters before they kill your meat shields. And if you're running archers, if they get through your meat shields, they're just going to destroy your archers. Like if they touch them, they're going to die. Some of these more offensive oriented units. So I really think that Set for Charge has come into its own in this version. It's become a little bit more popular. You're seeing Shadow Tower Spearmen from the Night's Watch. And I think you're still seeing Uller on the Martell side, who has Set for Charge as a card. I'd like to see some other Set for Charge commanders get used, but that's neither here nor there. The Impaling Spear, all you have to do is destroy an enemy rank to panic everyone in short range. So if you've ever played Reek and Ramsey, you know how good Ramsey's little panic is when he punches the crap out of Reek and throws a panic token in that short range bubble. This is pretty good. I mean, if you can soften them up, remembering that, if you really wanted to and be kind of clever with it, you can make sure that an enemy is close to losing that rank. Like you can use the vulnerable token if you had to have them reroll a failure to try to keep them down to like 9 guys or keep them down to 5 guys to make sure that the spearman can do that last wound to take the rank off, and then you can bubble a panic token. It's pretty good. The Boltons play the very, very, very strong panic game. So the more panic tokens you can bring out, the better. These guys really, them and Cutthroats, they just don't want anything to do with the archers. So you're going to have to figure something out to shield them. Or you can start bringing in attachments, because this version of the game has made attachments attractive. You actually see attachments. It's phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah, well, especially with the Boltons, because obviously we're going to release the unboxing of the Bolton Heroes 1 box tomorrow, so there'll obviously be a bit more discussion around it. But obviously the Bastard Boys you can take as a free attachment. The first one, in your army is a free attachment. So using someone like Grunt with his resilience will obviously help weather some damage. I really like the idea of Sour Allen in these guys, because just to make sure you do peel off that rank, all the enemies become panicked in short range, because that obviously his ability really ties in well with that. And also Ramsey Commander in these will be quite cool as well, because obviously then they're dealing with Set for Charge followed by Horrific Visage, so I think that will really sort of help these guys find a place in the Bolton army. But we're not here really to talk about attachments, we're here to talk about the unit. But yeah, as you say, but not only attachments becoming more appealing to play within the game, but Bolton's really helped that. So yeah, but what I'm saying is that you are right when it comes to this season of the game, this edition of the game is actually quite appealing to take attachments, and obviously this Bolton Bastard Boy mechanic that allows you to take a free attachment is also really cool as well, and that just strengthens that want to take an attachment in the unit. It also depends on what you want to get out of it. And to be honest, we'll talk about it a bit more tomorrow when we go over the Bolton Heroes. But it's something I would quite like to see taken over to other factions. Really, your first attachment becomes free.
Yeah, I would as well, and I think it's been, maybe it was inspired by the core Free Folk unit having a adaptive, and you saw Free Folk attachments. So maybe they've decided to do that, just, not as broken as Raiders have been. So Raiders are fine now, finally, but prior to this season, a little broken. But I think that mechanic, maybe they saw it and they really liked, seeing those named characters on the field. And as long as they do it, with some level of restraint, I'm all there for it. And the Bolton's boys are fair. So that's what I was getting at.
All right, sweet. Right, so that wraps up really the Dreadfort Spearmen. But they do look there. If you're a painter, if you're a hobbyist, you're going to want to get these guys just to paint the miniatures, mate. The miniatures that are so nice. I'm really excited about painting these guys. In fact, the whole new Bolton range, I'm really excited about painting. Yeah, and I think they've got a place in the Bolton army. It's really easy for us to sit here and try and work out sort of what works, what doesn't work for these guys because of the exclusion of neutrals. I'm really excited about these guys, and I'm going to start running some Bolton games soon, just to try and get my head around the way they sort of fit together. I'm excited.
Yeah, I quite like it.
Cool. All right, man. Well, cheers for your time, Brett, my BFF forever, and I'm excited for going over some more of these Bolton stuff over the week, because it's definitely Bolton week here at Yecats HQ.
Hey, I'm here for it. I'm here to talk about something that's new, and I'm pretty happy that they Yeah, I'm just really happy that the Boltons are finally here. I think there's a number of people that have played Bolton from the beginning.
Cheers for your time, Brett. Thanks for everyone for listening to the unboxing, for watching unboxing. I hope you guys like the new miniatures. I hope you get them painted. And when you do paint them, make sure you put them on Instagram and tag us so we can check them out, or on Facebook, whatever your chosen social is. If you like what you see, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, make sure you stay in touch and join in the conversation. Cheers, Brett. You take care, man.
All right, man. We'll see you the next time.
Take care, dude. Bye.
See ya.